You're right, people. Chaos here today, and as you can tell, hopefully by the title and the opening of this video, we're going over the Primaris Reivers. What they look like in the box, the value you get in the box, the models just in general, how they are, but also how you can implement them on the battlefield, the tabletop. So, obviously, some of you may know I am Black Templars. I like my stabby close combat, but I do understand you need to have some range. So I was a bit on the fence when Primaris first came out. Wasn't sure, but as soon as Reavers got announced, I was like, humana, must have a set. Because I like the aesthetics of them. Some people really don't like the whole skull head motif, thinking they look like the villain out of Mad Max. I think that's a pro. They're supposed to be a scary troop choice. They're not going to have a kitten face on them going meow. But anyway, I digress. So the box is quite a sturdy box. You've got plenty on there. You've got obviously Picture Boy, Ultramarines on there all over to show you how awesome these guys can look in close combat. On the back, I do like what they're doing here. You've got Elite Terror Troops. It says it all in there. Combat Knife. Heavy bolt pistol, grav launchers, which I'll go over in a bit what they do. Obviously you got a Reaver Sergeant there and there, so different styles. Grav launcher one, bolt carbine, different pouches, grav shoots, and obviously different colour schemes. So you got Space Wolf one, you got the Raven Guard one, you got the Salamander one. You then have, they obviously show you what kind of paints you can use for the different armors and different skins and so on and so forth. On a side note, Raven Guard are going to use these a lot. Okay, so that is that box there. Let's place that back. It cost £35 to get it. But anyway, I've already opened these and built them. But basically, these are the sprues that I got left. You had 4 sprues and you had 10 32mm bases. Now on the sprues you had a lot of choices. So you got the 10 bodies, you had a ton of heads, alright? You had 10 helmeted heads, 10 of the mask scalp heads, and then 4 lots of the standard heads. So let's see if I can find, yep. So you got the heads on there and they were well modelled, so they were all in this corner here. You got the little pouches to go on the front as extra grenades because they're survivalists, and this had all the bodies on it. There was so many bodies, but I love how they're all animated, but I'll show you in a minute how they obviously look. But the sprues are sturdy material, very little mould lines, but I can obviously show you that on the actual models. Here are obviously your weapon choices. Now, in theory, you got the equivalent of, as you can see here, 14 carbines. Alright, 14 when you got 10 models. You've got the equivalent of 14 combat knives up here. Sorry, it's probably not in view, as you can see there. 14 of these combat knives. You've got 4 grapple launchers and 14 bolt pistols. And then numerous arms and pouches and all that stuff here. Let's see if I can show it in a better view. So you've got different pouches. So you've got the grapple pouches as well as normal bolt pouches and bladed pouches, all sorts of them. So you had a right mixture, and obviously you got a nice load of these purity seals here, the grenade pouches. It's just, they were very nice, easy models to put together. I haven't built any models in a very long time. I've been stripping eBay win ones and all sorts, so it was really nice to actually build models again. But these were really quite nice to put together. They weren't difficult, anything like that. The only downside I would have with it is they only gave you 10 of the bulky shoulder pads, which only go on one side, on the left side. Now I wanted to magnetize the options, so you had the carbines, one squad if you wanted, then swap out using magnets to then put on a combat knife and bolt pistol, but you couldn't really do that, and I'm not spending £1 per combat shield off eBay. Alright, this is the transfer sheet that you had, which Obviously, it's got Ultramarines. I would have preferred it if they had one that had Ultramarines. Like the old one that had Ultramarines, it had Black Templars, Salamanders, Iron Imperial Fists, Raven, all the different ones on there. But I do like the fact it's got the different styles. It's got campaign, badges, lieutenant, and then the squad markings. That's quite useful for knees and things like that. So give them due where credit's due. They've actually updated it. Now this is one thing I love with the new Primaris ones. Obviously you're going, wait a minute, that's an instructional book. Yeah, that's fine. Very well laid out. Alright. And before I forget, the grav shoots, you had enough for 10 backpacks. Alright. So you couldn't really put more of those on, but hey, that's all good. Instructions, really, really nicely laid out. Really simple. If you can follow this, you can follow anything. Obviously, grapple launcher, things like that. I'll show you how I got around that without worrying about breaking it. But you got data sheets now in different languages. Really, really like the idea that you can buy the model, you can build them, and bang, you can start playing with them. It's really, really, really helpful and useful. So they're 5 power for 5 of them. So you got a sergeant and 4 reavers, another 5 power, and you can get another 5 of them. Perfect. They can combat squad, alright? So they can squad, if you've got 10 of them, they can go into 2 units of 5. Now with statistics of them, as you can see there, I'm not going to insult your intelligence, but as you can see, movement 6, weapon skill and ballistic skill 3, strength 4, toughness 4, 2 wounds, 2 attacks, 7 leadership, 3 armor save. Obviously the sergeant has an extra one of his attack and leadership. Not going to complain. The carbine, as you can see there, 24-inch range, assault 2, strength 4, all standard. That's fine. But the heavy bolt pistol I do like. It's a 12-inch range, but you get one shot. You can't rapid fire or anything like that. That's fine. But it is armor piercing 1. -1, which is very good in my eyes. It makes it that you can have a bit better chance of actually getting through to the opponent's nice juicy flesh underneath. Combat knife +1 to the attack. Brilliant. Frag and crack. This is what I like. Shot grenades. Doesn't deal any damage. It's D3 obviously throws, if that makes sense. D3 hits. But it only if the enemy infantry unit's hit by it, they're stunned until the end of the turn. Now what that means is they can't overwatch, and it's -1 off their hit rolls from that unit. Perfect. All the models can have their bolt carbines replaced with a combat knife. They can all take grav shoots, all take grapple launchers. They're 10 points for the grav shoots, 10 points for the grapple launchers for the squad. Done. Just take them, for crying out loud. It's 10 points, just take it, alright? Because here you go. Grapple launchers, if they're equipped, they do not need to count the vertical distance when you move against something. So I move vertically is free for these models. So if you want to obviously charge into a building or something against some scouts or heavy support or something, at the top of that building, you just have to measure the XY distance or XZ. You don't have to measure the vertical distance. So instead of going 2, 4 up and then 2 across, it is just 2 and 2, 4. Done. Alright? But also, at the end of the deployment, you can deploy these guys 6 inch or anytime after movement and things like that. 6 inches from the battle edge, anywhere on the table, but more than 9 inches from an enemy. Really, really useful kind of setup, okay? Combat squad, as I said. Terror troops, this is a nice thing as well. Enemy units, as you can read there, subtract 1 from their leadership when they're within 3 inches of a Reaver squad. Really good on morale tests, alright? So this is what I mean by these are shock, melee, sneakies. You throw the grenade, obviously you can only throw it 6 inches. So you can't suddenly drop down and then throw the grenade because you've dropped down at the end of your movement phase. So hits and, you know, pros and cons. So you drop down behind cover, so you're covered, so you can't get shot. Next turn, you move a couple inches so you can throw your grenades, throw the grenades, shock the enemy, they can't overwatch, charge. Then you're doing a terror, it's all works. Grab shoots, it's basically the same as the assault marines that they can drop down from high orbit. Okay, simple as that. No more than 9 inches away from opponent. Imperium, Space Marine, Chapter, Infantry, Primaris, Reivers squad. Simple as that. I like how they're implementing these into the box sets. So let's show you my models, and I've got a scout beside them as a size comparison. So let's see if I can do this correctly without smacking the camera asunder. Ooh, there you go. So I really like these guys. Okay, so you can probably see a size difference straight away. Let's grab one of my guys. A bit of a size difference. That may not show it him crouched over. Let's get one standing up quite tall and prominent. There you go. He's got the grapple launcher with the grab shoots on the back and all these pouches, and they were a pleasure to put together. But see the size difference. It's ridiculous. Scouts on steroids. It's just immense, but they look amazing, okay? So this is obviously my scout sergeant with a power sword and stuff like that. Really do like my scouts. I like them being sneaky, but these guys, bloody hell, they are immense. But yeah, I've made a 5-man squad at the back with the helmets. Okay, so they've got the helmets. They're going to have a bit of fun and all that jazz. And then they've got the grab shoots and everything. Now, you may have noticed, obviously you've got sergeant stuff like that. You may have noticed I got these. I had a concern that if I stored them away, that little bit of cable would snap. Alright? And when you glue it back together, it never glues back properly. I magnetised it. Alright? Now I'm going to be showing it in a future video how to magnetise carefully and correctly without damaging your model and making sure you get a nice flush fit like that. Some people may know how to do it, some people may go, oh, I know how to do it and stuff like that. But I found a couple tricks of how to do it to make sure it's right and to make sure it fits perfectly and it's a strong bond. Okay? But these guys I'm really happy with. As I said, I wasn't too keen on Primaris, but as soon as I saw these guys, I couldn't be happier. Okay? But I like the setup that I can paint these guys this way, these guys this way. That is definitely a sergeant with his haircut and stuff like that. So if I want to do a 10-man squad, I can. But if I want to do 2 separate squads, I can. But anyway, I digress. I'll be doing, as I said, a video on magnetisation. I may do an update video of how I've painted up these guys in the future. I've got quite a backlog of stuff to paint up. But I shall leave you there. I hope you've enjoyed it. And I'm just really excited, as you can gather, with obviously the other shield and stuff like that. So, a lot of grenades to have some fun with. So if you really are excited with more work on Black Templar stuff or models or anything like that and hints and tips, don't be afraid to like, comment and subscribe down below. Share it with anyone you know that are a bit on the fence with Reavers. Let them know, okay? So you all take care of yourself. Chaos out. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you want to see the other videos in the playlist, you got the left hand option. If you want to see the content that I have on my channel, you then have that middle option there. And if you'd like to join the chaotic crew, please don't be afraid to click that button on the right hand side. You're more than welcome.